Okay, here we go. Here's some more. I was screwing around with the hog and I just learned something new. If you hold down the open key, uh, you'll see, I'm just going to hold it down on my controller, you'll see a list of options here. And this is hard to do if you just have the keyboard, but this is really awesome. I just realized that you can actually hit this button called function keys, and you can see the keypad over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can see all the buttons that I have. Now, because I don't have the digital readout above the buttons, like you do on the full bore, I can just open this up, and I can use the command buttons, like so. I might have to start using this more often on the Hog 4. That's really cool. Uh, the reason why I was doing that, because I was trying to remember how to open up the programmer. And one way of opening up the programmer here is that you can go through the views like 100 times and hit the shortcut right there. But since I often stray away from that once my show starts, it goes away for me, and it might for you after a while. But if you hold down the open button, the programmer just pops up right there, so it's a quicker way if you are on like the second page of views and you don't have to go through all that again. What's really fun about if you hold down open, you see output here, and you can see your live outputs as I'm changing values. You can see all the values changing in real time. I think that the colors mean different things, like coming from different cue lists and tracking and things like that. Hold down the open button. You can also see the levels of dimmers. That's somewhat useful. Might be useful for some of you. This is fun too. So if I have my function key and I select all my movers, I can go ahead and pick a color just by holding the open button in HS Picker. That's one fun thing as well. Okay, now back to something useful. What I was going to show you next is the quick color picker. Let's see here. There are certain rock concerts. I don't do this for every show, but this is important to me if I'm doing rock music or something really, really quick. I call this my quick cue list, and if it's just something I need to go boom, 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 just really quick cues, because even if at 0 seconds I can push all these buttons, but it's a little bulky. I mean, this is for something where I just want something random, quick, and fast. You could do this fun feature. Let's say you could use the palettes for this if you wanted, but I like to do it through the just picking random variations of the scene directory, because it's familiar what people see, but at the same time I don't really care what it looks like. I just want something flashy and quick. That's the whole point of it. So what I'm going to show you now is something called the live button. Think of it kind of like a group that would change every time you move fixtures. It's a group of whatever's live on the stage. So for instance, what I do is I turn down any front light or down light. I just want the things that I want to be snappy. Make sure that's off when you do this list, or else it'll get sucked in as a live fixture because it's quite frankly live. So you can do this cool feature. You hit the live button. As you hit live, you'll see the suck guy right here. Hit the suck button, and what that did, let me open the programmer, is that took in everything that was live on the stage and put it in here. Let me show you what I mean. Let me open the programmer again. I'm going to hit the clear button, so now there's nothing in the programmer. I'm even going to turn on my front light and my down light to full. Now I'm going to hit live on my keyboard. You can even see it in the command bar, and then I'm going to hit the suck button. And you see even the dimmers are in here are live as well. Well, what do you do if I accidentally do that? It's really easy. Hit the backspace button. And you see there's even other things we don't want, like it's strobing out. We don't want that. That's coming from or strobe command. It's hiding in the background, but it's live in the background, so it pulled it forward into the programmer. But anyway, we're going to hit the back button, and what that did is that unselected everything. There's a reason for that, because if I left it highlighted, you could start programming with it, but it gets a little funky sometimes, so I just make a habit of hitting the back button and clearing it all out and starting all over. So if I want to knock out these guys, it's quite frankly a command called knockout. I hit 24 through 38. create, hit enter, and then I can go over here and hit knockout, and bam, it's gone. I can even do that for features like effects, colors, positions, beams. For instance, if I see you see this little wiggly mark, that's an effect, and you'll see that, and if it's moving, if you'll see in the pan and tilt, you'll see those effects as well. But what if I want to knock that out? Well, it's pretty easy as well. Type in the command line 1 through 23. That's all our fixtures. Or, I could have hit my command button, and I could have simply hit all movers and my command buttons, and wow, there they are, all the movers. And I can hit the effects button. Bam, effects. You notice that the effects engine opened up, and then you hit the button knockout, and it just knocked out all the effects. You see that little wiggly mark that was over there is now gone, and we can close out our effects window, and you look at the stage, it's all gone as well. Also happen to notice that my backlight is up, so I can go 19. My downlight is on. Oh, that's because it's live on. I was like looking at it on here. This is what I was seeing a second ago. I was like, wait a minute, it's not in the programmer. That's because it's not. What else? Yeah, so hopefully you're getting the idea. You can do this inverted as well. We hit the clear out the programmer. I don't like to suck in the intensities. I do it sometimes. In some of my older shows, I suck in the intensities, but I don't like to do it. The reason is because I can just utilize this fader, and if I have different fixtures on different faders, I can even have some fun by moving different faders up and down and highlighting different sections. They're different fixtures and making it more interesting if I want. It just gives me more options. So to do that, we use a inverted thing called, how I do this, I invert it. Instead of using suck by sucking everything in the programmer, I just suck in parts. I'll hold down the open key, hit programmer. So if I just want to pull in everything that's live, that has a position, pretty simple, live, position, and instead of suck, I'm going to use touch. Let's see. I hit the knockout button. Sorry, did that backwards. Live, position. You're probably wondering, why did he hit knockout? Okay, touch. Now there it is, position. And I can do the same thing for color, live, color, and then touch. And then you see everything that was live just filled in. And then I can do live, beam, and touch. And there you go. It, like I said, you can do it for live and intensity and touch it as well. Touch. But, I'm not going to do it like that. I'm just actually going to go hit the effect button and knock it out. And I'll actually hit the intensity button and knock that out as well. Because for this exercise and for how I like to set it up usually, I just like to knock out. I like to leave intensity values as an open option for me. I'm going to close this effects engine. So anyway, as you've probably figured it out, we can just open up our cue list and hit record cue, enter, and there we go. Set this to 0 because the whole point of it is to be a quick cue, so we don't want anything to have a real fade time. You can even hit options. I do this as well once the cue's made, and make sure that all this mark time, release time, assert time, back time is all set to 0, so hopefully that every time I record a cue, it all set to 0, and I don't have to sit there and manually say, okay, go to 0, because the default was set to 2. Now hopefully it's going to re-record, set to 0. Now as you notice, there's stuff in the programmer. My clear button's set, so I'm going to hit clear, and now my programmer's empty. And just to test this out, I'm going to move the fader up for that master, and I'm going to hit play for this cue list. And I'm going to make sure that my master for that is open as well. And then I also, since I wanted to be snappy and I wanted to punch out in people's paces, I turn up the priority on this. Close on that, so that way it overrides my scenes. And quite frankly, it's doing that right now. Let's see. And then hopefully release. So release. I'm trying to get it to release here. There we go. Now once it releases, now see, I debate still about the priority, because the nice thing is, oh, this is one thing that I do as well. Go to the master, do intensity, cross position, cross beam, fade. And the reason is because I can assert it, and you see the scene directories, they're now gray. Now when I move the fader down, they go back into blue. And that gives it that ability to crossfade. Remember, this is staying in the background because we put persist on override. And I'm going to pause this. Well, I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to pause it, and I'll give you an idea what the end result looks like. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do it really, really quick because the video is running out of time. If you didn't get it, just watch that part again. But I'm going to hit, watch down here as I'm typing as well. Here's my programmer. Live position, touch. Live color, touch. Live beam, touch. And I'll hit my master, double click it, and then hit record queue, enter. And then, oops, you know what I just did? I just recorded two of the same thing. So I'm going to hit delete. Oh, that was my record button. You guys, like I said, someone's probably watching this and going, "You're hitting the record button." Okay, clear that out. So now we got these guys. Let's say I want red and blind. Once it's up, I can hit in the command line, live position, touch, live color, touch, and I'm doing this so quickly because I have the touch screen. Live position, touch, click my master, record queue, enter. See, it's a little weird. I think it's because it's not it's set to the default time, universal default time. Hit the clear. Remember, hit the clear button, and then double click my scenes, and I'm going to pick. No, let's keep that, and let's hit my solo. You know what? Let's get rid of all colors. So I want it to look like that. So I'm going to hit live and suck everything. Excuse me, and touch everything back in. Live, active, color touch, or live, beam, touch. So it got every setting that I have up there. I could, in theory, you would be probably thinking, some of you might be thinking, well, why don't I just, hit the position and record? But remember, tracking would bring it back down. Let's see. Set that back to 0, and then what I've also done too, I'll just highlight all these and set them to 0. That's one thing as well that you can do. So I'm going to do a few more. I'm going to hit pause and give you an idea what the end result looks like. Okay, so now I got some more cues in here. I'm going to highlight all these, hit set, it's 0, and then there we go. And I'm going to turn up the fader up and run this so you can get the idea of how quickly this rolls. And what it looks like here, notice these guys are grayed out, but this is what it looks like going really quick. And then when I'm done with it, just hit turn down the fader, and there you go. And you could make it to a crossfade if you would like. So I could really just, slowly turn this up if I wanted to do something cool like that. So let's say if there was something like that I wanted, and unfortunately, my cue list is on Q2. I think it's blind. I haven't done this in a while, so I think it's blind. So go to Q2. Oops, yep. Yeah, just run it. Darn, I was hoping. I know what I've done before in the past is that I've purposely rolled it where I wanted it to be, and I'm going to do really silent. And then I've had my look, and then you can slowly roll it up, create like this cool ending to a song if you wanted. If I wanted to do it that way, and I had my front light up like that, just turn down the front light at the same time. And this is really, in essence, what I did. I'll show you if you can watch the screen and the faders at the same time, just so it's slowly rolling down like that. And it's pretty cool. And what's really fun too, if you can actually get just a widget and use the controller if you're not doing a lot, but you like the programmability of this, you can just get the widget and send out this data as well.